In our previous video of Act 3, Scene 3, we have discussed summary and critical appreciation. Today, we'll be discussing lines 1 till 65. So by the end of this video, you will be able to learn the explanation of lines 1 till 65, learn the references and literary devices of the lines 1 till 65. Let us now read lines 1 till 10. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, and others. Gonzalo to Alonso. By our Arlequin, I can go no further, sir. My old bones ache. Let us see the meaning, children. By our Arlequin means by our little lady or by blessed virgin. Now Gonzalo swears by the Virgin Mary. He says that he is stiff with pain all over because he is old. Here's a maze trod indeed, through forthrights and meanders. By your patience, I needs must rest me. Let us see the meanings, children. Maze means bewildering region. Forthrights means straight paths. Meanders means turnings. Now children, there is a reference of meanders here. Meanders was the name of a classical river which had a very twisted and winding course. So the word came to mean wandering in a zigzag or crooked direction. Let us see the meaning. By your patience, with your leave. Needs must rest me means must rest a while. So Gonzalo says that they have been just going about through bewildering regions, straight paths and turnings. He asks for permission from Alonso if he can rest a while. Alonso, old Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Now, children, what is the meaning of attached with weariness? Means much affected by fatigue. Alonso, in a tone of despair, calls Gonzalo old Lord and says that it is not his fault. He himself is wearied and his spirits have sunk very low. Sit down and rest. Even here will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. Children, what is the meaning of put off? Means give up. No longer for my flatterer, let it no longer deceive me as a flatterer. So, Alonso tells Gonzalo to sit down and have a rest. He says that even in this spot, he shall give up the hope of finding his son again and let hope no more deceive him as a flatterer. He is drowned, whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go. The children, what is the meaning of stray? Means wander about. The sea mocks, it is personification. Frustrate, hopeless or futile. Now children, Alonso believes that Ferdinand has perished in the wreck and they are searching for him in vain. He feels that the sea seems to smile at their vain efforts to find him again. According to him, Ferdinand is gone forever and it is of no use worrying. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, and others enter. Gonzalo swears that he can't go any further. He says that his old bones are tired. He feels that they are wandering in a maze. He asks Alonso if he minds if Gonzalo needs to rest a bit. Alonso replies that he can't blame the old Lord Gonzalo. He says that he himself is so tired that it's bringing him down. He asks him to sit down and rest. He says that he is losing hope. He feels that the one they are looking for, that is Ferdinand, is dead. He feels that they are searching on land, but he is lost in the sea. He says that they have to give up and let him go. Now children, let us read lines 11 till 19. Antonio, aside to Sebastian, I am right glad that he is so out of hope. Out of hope means given up hope. So children, Antonio says to Sebastian that he is very glad that Alonso has abandoned all hope. Do not for one repulse forego the purpose that you resolved to effect. What is the meaning of repulse, children? Means failure or defeat. Forego, give up. Resolved, decided. He tells Sebastian to not to give up the plan which he intended to carry out. Now, which plan, children? The plan of killing Alonso. He says so because Sebastian could not kill Alonso in the first attempt. Sebastian, aside to Antonio, the next advantage will we take thoroughly. Now children, what is the meaning of thoroughly? Means thoroughly or completely. Sebastian says to Antonio that they must avail themselves of the opportunity thoroughly. Antonio, aside to Sebastian, let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travail. Now children, what is the meaning of oppressed? Means tired. Travail means an unpleasant situation which involves a lot of difficulties or a journey. Now Antonio says to Sebastian that they must take advantage of that night, for Alonso, Gonzalo and others are worn out with the toil of the journey. They will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh. So they cannot keep a strict watch as when they are fresh in energy. Sebastian, aside to Antonio, I say tonight, no more. So Sebastian, aside to Antonio, means he talks to Antonio on the side. I say means yes. No more means now say no more. So children, Sebastian says to Antonio that they must not miss that night. He tells Antonio to talk no more. Solemn and strange music and Prospero on top, invisible. The children, at this particular time, Prospero enters. He is invisible and there is a strange and solemn music. Enter several strange shapes, bringing in a banquet and dance about with gentle actions of salutations and inviting the king, etc. to eat, and they depart. Now children, what is the meaning of strange shapes? It means spirits. Salutations, it means greetings. Now other strange shapes also enter, bringing in a banquet. They dance about with gentle actions of salutation and invite the king, etc. to eat, and then they depart. Alonso, what harmony is this, my good friends? Hark. Children, what is the meaning of harmony? Means music. Hark means listen. So Alonso, on hearing this music, asks, what music is this? He tells others to listen to the music. Gonzalo, marvelous sweet music. Gonzalo says that it is a wonderfully sweet music. Let us read the gist of the lines. Antonio speaks slowly so that only Sebastian can hear. He says that he is glad that Alonso is so depressed. He suggests that they shouldn't back out of their plan just because it didn't work the first time. Sebastian also speaks slowly so that only Antonio can hear. He says that the next chance they get, they'll do the deed. Which deed? The deed of killing Alonso and Gonzalo. Antonio speaks slowly so that only Sebastian can hear. He suggests that they should do it that very night. He says that the men are so tired from traveling that they can't be as careful as they are when they are fresh. Solemn and strange music is heard. Prospero enters above, invisible. Sebastian speaks slowly so that only Antonio can hear. Sebastian agrees that they should do that night. He says that they should not talk about this anymore. Alonso asks what that music was. He asks his other friends to listen to the music. Gonzalo exclaims that it's a marvelous music. Let us now read lines 20 till 34. Alonso, give us kind keepers, heavens. What were these? Kind keepers means angels. Now Alonso gets a little scared and prays to God to give them protection. He wonders what these strange shapes are. Sebastian, a living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there. Now children, what is the meaning of drollery? It means puppet show. Phoenix is a bird. Throne is nesting place. Reigning means ruling. Now Sebastian, with a cool and observing manner, comments that it is a puppet show in which living beings seem to be taking parts. He says that now he is inclined to believe that there are such strange creatures as unicorns, and there is one tree in Arabia which is the seat of Phoenix, and one phoenix must be reigning there. Antonio, I'll believe both. And what does else? Want credit? Come to me and I'll be sworn 'tis true. Then what is the meaning of else want credit? Means if anything else that seems to be incredible. Now Antonio says that he is ready to believe both. Which both? Both unicorn and phoenix. And anything else that seems to be incredible. He will swear them to be true. Travelers never did lie, though fools at home condemn them. Now this entire line, children, means that there were many travelers returning from foreign lands in Shakespeare's time, and people were keenly interested in their tales of wonders seen in far countries. But there was a general spirit of doubt, and many people thought that the stories of strange things were invented by those travelers, and the people condemned many of them as liars. Now children, he says that he is now able to believe anything that is incredible. He says that he does not think that the travelers are given to lying when they talked about incredible stories, though fools at home may find faults with their stories. Gonzalo, if in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, for certes these are people of the island. Now islanders means the natives of this island. Certes means certainly. Now Gonzalo asks if he should report these happenings in Naples, would the people believe him? He says that he should say he saw such islanders, for certainly these are the natives of island. He is actually talking about the spirits, who though they are of monstrous shape, yet note their manners are more gentle, kind than of our human generation you shall find. Many, nay, almost any. Now children, what is the meaning of this entire line? Than of our human generation you shall find many, nay, almost any. This means than many human beings, no, than almost any human being. Gonzalo further says that these islanders, though look like monsters, yet one may observe that they are gentler in manners than many among men, rather almost any. Prospero, aside, honest Lord, thou hast said well, for some of you there present are worse than devils. The children, honest Lord refers to Gonzalo. Some of you refers to Alonso, Sebastian and Antonio. Now Prospero calls Gonzalo the honest lord and says that he has made a true remark for some of them who are present here. He specifically refers to Antonio, Alonso, and Sebastian. So, some of them present here on the island are worse than devils. Let us read the gist of the lines. Alonso prays to God to help them. He wonders what those things were. Sebastian says that it was a puppet show in real life. He says that now he'll believe that unicorns exist and that there's a tree in Arabia where the phoenix lives. Antonio says that he too believes it. He further says that he can believe anything else that's hard to believe. Just ask him and he'll swear it's true. He says that he believes that travelers have never told lies, no matter what the fools at home accuse them of. Gonzalo asks if he told them about this back in Naples, would people believe him? He would tell them that he saw natives like these, since they must be natives who are graceful and well-mannered, even if they are monstrous to look at, kinder than most human beings one might find, kinder than almost any human. Prospero says to himself that his good lord Gonzalo is absolutely right, since some of them are worse than devils. Now let us read lines 36 till 43. Alonso, I cannot too much muse, such shapes, such gesture, and such sound, expressing, although they want the use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse. Let us see the meaning of muse. Means wonder at. Want means lack. So Alonso says that he cannot help wondering very much at these strange shapes, their movements and sounds, conveying their meaning in expressive gestures when they seem to lack speech. Prospero, aside, praise in departing. Now children, look at the phrase praise in departing. It is a proverbial saying, praise at parting and behold well the end, which means praise when the feast is over and the guests depart. That is, do not praise till you see the end. Now children, Prospero is on one side, invisible to everyone. He speaks to Alonso to praise when the feast is over and the guests depart. That is, do not praise till he sees the end. Francisco, they vanished strangely. Strangely means mysteriously. So Francisco remarks that the strange creatures disappeared mysteriously. Sebastian, no matter, since they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Let us see the meaning, children. Viands means food and stomachs means appetite. So Sebastian says that it does not matter since they have left the food and they may do justice to it. Will it please you taste of what is here? So he asks Alonso if he would kindly partake the food placed before them, because they are all hungry. Alonso, not I. Now children, Alonso is dejected and says that he is not going to eat. Let us read the gist of the lines. Alonso says that he cannot stop being amazed by these shapes, sounds and gestures which express even without saying anything, a wonderful kind of silent language. Prospero says that Alonso must praise when the feast is over and the guests depart. That is, not to praise till he sees the end. Francisco says that the spirits vanished strangely. Sebastian says that it's all right, since they left their food behind and they themselves are very hungry. He asks Alonso if he would kindly start the food. Alonso replies that he won't. Let us now read lines 44 till 52. Gonzalo, faith, sir, you need not fear. When we were boys, who would believe that there were mountaineers, dewlapped like bulls, whose throats had hanging at them wallets of flesh? Dewlapped like bulls, it is a simile. Wallets of flesh, masses of hanging flesh, looking like bags of flesh. The loose and hanging flesh in front of a bullock's breast is called its dewlap. It is an allusion to the sufferers from goiter among the Alps and other mountainous districts. In their nursery tales, they were told of a race of people living in the mountains who had loose flesh hung like bags of flesh from whence they, being hungry, would eat. So children, Gonzalo tells Alonso that he need not fear. He says that when they were boys, no one would certainly believe that there were mountaineers having fleshy outgrowths like bulls and throats descending in a bag of flesh. Or that there were such men whose heads stood in their breast, which now we find each putter out of 5 for 1 will bring us good warrant of. Let's see the meaning, children. Warrant means proof. Now see the lines which are underlined. There were such men whose heads stood in their breast. There were childhood stories about strangers, people whose heads appear not above the shoulders, but who have their eyes in their shoulders and mouths in the middle of their breast. So Gonzalo continues and says that they would not believe that there were such men whose heads stood in their breast. And now they find that those stories would be certified to be true by every traveller who insured his life at the rate of £5 for £1 invested. Alonso, I will stand to and feed, although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we. Let's see the meaning, children. Stand to and feed means start and eat. Last means last meal. Stand to, commence. We refers to I. So Alonso says that he will start and eat, though it would be his last meal. He says that it does not matter much to him, since the happiest days of his life are over. He further tells Antonio, Sebastian, and others to start and follow his example. Thunder and lightning. Enter Ariel. Like a harpy, claps his wings upon the table, and with a quaint device, the banquet vanishes. Now suddenly there is thunder and lightning, and Ariel enters like a harpy. He claps his wings upon the table, and with a strange device, the banquet vanishes. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Gonzalo assures Alonso that there's nothing to be afraid of. When they were boys, nobody would believe that there were mountain people with rolls of skin around their necks, with their throats hanging down, or that there were men with heads in their chests. Nowadays, travelers commonly report that these things exist. Alonso says that he'll start eating even if it is his last supper. He feels that it's alright since the best part of his life is over anyway. He says to his brother and the Duke, that is Antonio, to have some food. Soon there is thundering and lightning. Ariel enters in the form of a harpy. Ariel flaps his wings on the table and the banquet vanishes from the table. Let us now read the lines 53 till 65. Ariel to Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian. You are 3 men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never surfeited sea, hath caused to belch up you, and on this island where man doth not inhabit. Let us see the meanings, children. Instrument, this lower world means which uses this lower world as an instrument. Never surfeited, never satisfied. Belch up, vomit. Where man doth not inhabit, there are no men living. Ariel now talks to Antonio, Sebastian and Alonso and says that they are three sinners whom fate, which has this lower world and all that is in it as its instrument to work its will, has caused the ever greedy sea or the never satisfied sea to throw them up on the island where no man lives. You mongst men, being most unfit to live, I have made you mad, and even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. Let's see the meanings, children. And even with such like valor, in such state of desperation, their proper selves means themselves. So Ariel continues and says that the sea has done so as they three amongst men are most unfit to live. He says that he has driven them to desperation, and in such a state of desperation, men sometimes hang themselves. Alonso, Sebastian, etc. draw their swords. You fools, I and my fellows are ministers of fate. Let's see the meaning, children. Ministers of fate means agents of fate. That is, agents to execute the purposes of fate. Alonso, Sebastian and Antonio draw their swords. Ariel calls them fools. He says that he and his comrades are the agents of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with bemogged at stabs, kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. Let's see the meanings, children. Elements means ingredients. Tempered, formed. Loud, noisy. Bemogged at stabs, sword thrusts which are mocked at. Still closing, ever closing. Dowel, particle of down feather, that is softest and lightest growth of feather on the bird's breast. Plume, feather. So Ariel says that they might think of inflicting wounds upon the invisible air or cutting the ever-closing water with the poor stuff of which their swords are made, as thinking of knocking off one feather from the wing. Let us read the gist of the lines. Ariel calls Alonso, Sebastian and Antonio the three men of sin. He says that destiny has made the sea belch them up onto this island where no man lives, since none of them deserves to live. He says that he has driven them crazy, and many mad people are driven to kill themselves in desperation. Now some of the courtiers draw their swords. Ariel, as Harpy, calls them fools and asks them to listen. He says that he and his fellows carry the orders of fate. He tells them that their swords are useless. They would be more successful in swinging them at the empty air or stabbing at water than trying to cut off his feathers. Now children, that is all for the day today. Now for your homework, you will do extracts 1 and 2 with pen on workbook. Thank you.